Now let's discuss one of the most important modules in ASP.NET Core platform. This is the MVC module. ASP.NET MVC is based on the MVC design pattern. MVC stands for Model View Controller. Interestingly, this pattern was originally envisioned for desktop GUI applications. However, since last 10-12 years, its usage in web applications has gained momentum. Now let's say a client wants to access a staff member with the ID of 15. Let's assume this is the URL typed by the client. Now MVC pattern separates duties or separates responsibilities in three components: controller, model, and view. Now controller is the component which interacts with the client. It handles the incoming request and retrieves the required information. Now let's assume the required data is present within the database. Now the controller, instead of directly accessing the database, uses the services of the model for performing the business logic. The model represents the data as well as the business logic within the MVC application. So the controller calls the model object to get staff ID 15. Now view is a component which displays the user interface. So the controller selects a view which will be displayed to the user. The controller also passes along the retrieved model object to the view. Now the view combines the HTML code with the model object and the final page is sent to the user. So there is clear separation of concerns or separation of responsibilities between these three components. The controller accepts the user request and retrieves the required information. The controller doesn't perform the business logic and it has no idea how the staff entity was retrieved. The model performs the business logic, but it doesn't know who has requested the information and how it's going to be used. Similarly, the view only knows how to display this model. It doesn't know how this view was generated. And it doesn't know who is going to view the page. Now this separation of concerns or separation of responsibilities leads to a loosely coupled application. Such an application is easy to test and maintain. Since the application is loosely coupled, this controller can be called by any user. The model can be called by any controller who needs its services. And the view can be called by any controller who wants to display this model. So let's create an example to understand this pattern in a step-by-step manner.